It's a funny thing when you're sick, isn't it? I don't know if you've noticed this. Sickness is a thing that's probably a men's disease, but it really is funny when you're sick. Vomit is the proper word. Vomit, or vimto. But I know most of the lads will probably think of this one, but have you never noticed, lads, every time you vomit, you bring up carrots? You might have to look around and search for them, but they're there, aren't they? They're all there, you know, stamped with Smedleys. I don't know why. I mean, now, I haven't eaten carrots for 16 years. As soon as I started going blind, I thought, bugger the carrots. I was walking around with a couple of rabbits attached to my glasses to see. But still, I vomit. Oh, bang, there they come, tinned, chunked and diced. All that. I think it goes back to when you're a little lad, because when you're a little lad, your mothers tend to force feed you. You know, they open the mouth and they start shoveling the carrots in with a battle cry, no bairn of mine is going to wear school glasses. And of course, your body's getting saturated with all this red stuff running down. You know, your lungs don't know what's blood and what's carrot, and it's just chunking down there. But your brain is really clever, because it's thinking, carrots, eh? Oh, carrots. This lad's going to need a few of these when he's about 18. So it stores all the carrots down here, and there's a little channel, and all the carrots come down here, and they form a little pouch down here, which about at age 10, it seals up the pouch, whoop, and all that's a full pouch of carrots, and then from 10 to 18, this tube slowly grows up your left side of your body, up through the gullet. And so when you get your 18, you say, oh, I'm 18, I must get out and have 25 pints. Oh, I must vomit over me Burton suit, then I'll be a man. And you get up there, and the thing, when you feel ill, you always clench your left hand into your middle, don't you? You clench it, and you start bending down, that's an action, and you keep pumping it, you're going, oh! Oh! Well, that opens up the tunnel then, you see, and all this is a pumping action, and all the carrots are coming up here like a rock. Oh! Spraying all out, oh! Oh! Not many people know that, you know. All these bloody carrots are coming out. Oh, magic. A song called Brown Ale Crazy by a good friend of mine called Eddie Pickford. It's one of the most popular songs written in the last 10 years in the North East folk scene. Good chorus. I'd love for you all to join in. The chorus goes like this. Well, he's brown ale crazy, he's brown ale mad, and they say that the brown ale rubbed him of a little bit of sense he had. Well, it takes a dozen bottles, his thirst to satisfy, and all he needs is half a chance, he'll drink the brewery dry. Oh, thank you, that's great, right. Now you must ken my mate Jordy, he's from Newcastle town, he's a hell of a bloke for drinking and especially likes the brown. He drinks it by the gallon and he drinks it by the gill. No matter how much brown he drinks, he never gets his fill. Because he's brown ale, I said he's brown ale man. And they say that the brown ale rubbed him more than the sense he had. Oh well, it takes a dozen bottles, his first to satisfy, and all he needs is half a chance to drink the brewery dry. But things are bad up the north of England. Northeast of England's really bad. Everybody's out of work apart from James Bolam, and there's problems all And Jordy just comes in after an 8-hour shift in the dole queue, and he says to their wife, Doris, that's the one thing about the government, this Labour government, the dole queues are getting really intellectual now. There's all these students come on and kind of get jobs, you know, your PhDs, professors, you know. And before, when I was on the dole, it used to be going to Woodbines, who won the last race, who's son come on. Now it's, I see Jean-Paul Sartre has been going on again. There's all these, you know, the poor muggins like us who were idiots, we just shoved off, you know, they're all having university challenges in the dole queue. Anyway, he said to their wife, Doris, says, Doris, where's our rover? She says, our rover? He says, yes, the bairn's pet. Where is it? She says, well, here. She says, why? He says, I'm going to knacker it. How do you mean? He says, I'm going to kill it. That's how I'll knacker it, I'll tell you that. She says, you can't kill the bairn's pet. He says, I'm sorry, Doris, but we're starving, and that's getting fatter. It's getting knackered. So he picked it up. He said, I'm going to de-woof it now, so if you don't want to look, turn away. Oh, raise around the neck, down the thing, whoop, round the anecdote, rips the skin off, little Johnny rushes out with a new jumpsuit, and all the meat gets into the pan, and he has the potato and the barley and the cabbage and the carrots. Well, maybe not the carrots, and everything. What a feast I had. Oh, Jordy had that much out of losing his belt because he's really way out of size. And all of a sudden, Doris started to cry. Jordy, Jordy, Jordy. Jordy. I don't know if you've noticed, lads, but every time women cry, they always hold the boobs up with their left hand. Yeah, they've got bras to hold them up, but the left hand is important. A woman can't cry and she holds the boobs up with her left. So you can't see a woman cry like that. Hands behind the back, Prince Philip crying. No. Left hand boob, and then they keep punching it. Oh, cheek arm, cheek arm, cheek arm. I think this boob, the left boob, is where all the tears are stored in here. And the two comes up to the eyes. And I tell you, if it ever meets the carrots coming up from here, there's going to be bedlam. He says, oh, wait, Doris, man, we had to kill the dog. We couldn't see the bairns gone hungry. She says, no, Jordy, no. But I was just thinking how a rover, he'd have loved these bones. Anyway, he's a quiet man when he's sober, 'cause he's only 5 foot now. But mind when he has supped a few a week and starting about, because he thinks he's Joseph Buggers, Muhammad Ali too. He'll take on off that pubic bone and 100 boys in blue, because he's brown hill crazy, he's brown hill mad. They say that the brown hill robbed him more. Oh well, it takes a dozen bottles, it's nice to satisfy, and all he needs is half a chance to drink the running dry. So Jordy rushed away down to Sin City, London. And who should he meet there but David Nixoff, that well-known bald-headed conjurer. And he got 2 tickets for the David Nixoff magic box, which is a type of trust David wears down here to keep all the budgetary guards and cards in. So out comes old Baldy, and he's making all the elephants appear out of people's nostrils, and he's got cabbages sprouting out the turnips, all show you off, show you off, show you off. And he comes up to Jordy and he says, hello there, Jordy, enjoying the show? Oh, Jordy says, magic. He said, Jordy, would it surprise you if I put my hand in your pocket and pull out a white, fluffy little bunny rabbit? Oh, he said it would. I've got 2 ferrets in there. He turned away from London and headed back north. And when he got back home, what should he find but saved a letter from the council, all inside of which was money, gelt, acres, mazuma, crisp letters, 400 brownie greeny ones, all for the redevelopment of the house. Now, Jordy, being a practical man, thought, £400? That's 2,500 bottles of beer. Oh, I'm saved. All my mates will speak to us back at the club. And away he made a rush for the club. But his wife, Doris, in a lovingly, wifely embrace, rugby tackled him just by the door, forearm locked him up the back and prized the money out of his sweaty little palm. And she says, I will get something for the house, you dirty little bugger. And away she went down the town. Anyway, she come back with a lodger, and then she bought this lovely bathroom suit. Oh, the pink bath, I'll tell you, it shows the call up a treat. The call there. Then the sink, and down the bottom of the yard, the Thomas W. Crapper walk, Mark Warren, Shannon Cutty House. Unbelievable, a piece de resistance never seen before. And she nipped down on the Sunday to christen it, taking the Observer crossword, because the paper's the softy, you know. And there she is, sitting in her glory, not a flush in her face and not a flush in the tank. She's yanking that chain up and down. She's getting biceps like Charles Atlas. Up and down, up and down, up and down. She's knock-kneeding backwards and the sweat's dripping off her stairs. So she nips out and leans over the neighbour's back wall and she shouts, Bella! Bella! And the answering call from the neighbour. Ah! The neighbour, she can smell a cup of sugar at 300 yards and she's got the scent. Bella! Ah! And Bella comes moving down that back alley. Bella! Ah! She's enormous. She's got an arse like a Volkswagen and she's moving in the third gear. Bella! She makes Tarzan look effeminate. You know, she's really grotesque. Got a face like a blind cobbler's thumb, and she's moving down. Bella, aye? She says, Bella, yes? is you a shithouse working? And Bella says, no, he's still in bed. Now the angels' calls of Jordy said it's time thou come up here, but Jordy says, why harder more, 'cause I haven't supped me beer. But when at last he got up there, St. Peter at the gate says, Jordy lad, you're welcome in, but leave that bloody crate, because he's brown ale. I said he's brown ale. And I say that the brown ale rubbed him of a little bit of sensey. Oh, well, it takes his thirst to satisfy, and all he needs is half a chance. He'll drink the brewery dry. I want to speak to you in an intimate sort of way now. And not that I want to be intimate with you by any stroke of the imagination, but I want to try and call you brethren. I want to reach out to you all. I'd like you to think of me as a father figure from this moment on, as a Cliff Richard sort of figure. Because we live in trouble, really live in troubled times, and there's problems up and down the country, especially up in the north. For years, the north has been badly depressed. For years, southerners from Westminster have come up here and pinched all our coal, and they've left these great big holes all around the place for us northern people to fall in off past 10 on Friday when you bottle out of your head. And it's not really good enough, and it turns inside one, and therefore I think religion can counter this, and therefore I want to speak to you words from the good book, the holy book, the Newcastle Brown Ale Yearbook, 1946 to 47, chapters 14 to 38 inclusive, verses 93 to 84 backwards. And whilst we're here, I'd like total silence for this, because this is an epistle, which basically means you can sit there and listen, or you can pistol out that door any time that you like. Because I want to speak to you as the good vicar did speak in Newcastle Cathedral only a matter of months ago, at that time in December, when the man, the good vicar, stood on his pulpit, he's a big lad, and he said to the assembled congregation, "Sir, I shall open up the good book." And he was interrupted by two dogs, one black and one white, who did rush into his cathedral barking in a rapacious manner. Ventriloquist as well. And above the din and the clatter, the vicar was heard to say, "I shall open up the good book." And the dogs did bark even more in his cathedral, because they were Catholic dogs and they didn't like prairie dogs. "I shall open up the good book," said the vicar, and the dogs did pittle up the pews, and the stench therein was magnified to the highest. "I shall open up the good book," and the dogs did bark even more, loosening the batcock that had lain for shelterless in the belfry, dropping it all down his head like a Harmony hair sovereign spray. "I shall close the good book," said the vicar, "and open up another book, 13 to 1 on the black dog, 14 to 2 on the white dog will tell any other." Because, brethren, as I say, we live in troubled times, and therefore I speak the words of the Lord of the good book. And it came to pass, brethren, as it often does when you take the Andrews liver salts, after a hard night out in the bus, that Joseph, a canny lad, who'd been working and toiling down the holiness of coalness in the dark hole, digging lumps of coal out of the hole to stop himself gone on the dole, did come up the pit shaft like the clappers. That's the clappers. That's bass. Boom! And away he went down to the deputy's lodge, where he was paid 5 shekels for his hard toil and labour. And away went rejoicing in his gladness, rattling his shekels in his pocket, and he was arrested for indecent exposure. On his way home, brethren, what should he perceive with his right eye but a wayside tavern, where he stopped to partake of the holy water. "Pour it on me, Lord, and baptize me in thy brown." At 10:30, brethren, he was casteth from lighteth into darketh. or browneth into ecthabitheneth. And he did fall by the wayside many times. There's these bloody holes the Southerners had left, that means they never chance. On reaching his abode, brethren, who should he perceive at the top of the stairs, dressed in a white and pink off-the-shoulder shift, but his good wife Mary, who cried down unto him, Joseph! Where are thy shekels? But that's another story, brethren. For which thou have tarried many hours down the holiness of coolness, a ditto. And this is, alas, Mary, my pet, my hinny, my sweetie plum. I have not got them, for I tonight was set upon and robbed of them on the highway by thieves tonight. And Mary said, and did they also vomit down your best overcoat? I don't give you carrots. Thinking to placate Mary instead of hitting her, he says, Mary, darling, there is a big festival, a parade down at Bethlehem at the weekend. How about me and you going down for the hoppins, the fairground, the shuggy boats, the magic lights, the bonny music? I've borrowed Jonty's cuddy. Now, a cuddy, of course, for Southerners who will not understand a cuddy, is a gallower. I've borrowed Jonty's cuddy. And a gallower, that's a 4-foot pit pony or a short horse. I think we've got one in tonight, and I have borrowed Jonty's cuddy, and I thought we'll go down for the hoppins. Like old Mary said to Joseph, being a dutiful Jordy wife, and she did load up the cuddy with the knickknacks, her Nix and his, well, it doesn't really matter now, bit of history. And away they galloped, lappity-tappity, down the road to Bethlehem. Brethren, when they got to Bethlehem, it was chock-a-block. You couldn't put a chock in anybody's block in Bethlehem that night. And mind, it wasn't for the one to try. And it was filled with film extras from television. And they tarried here, and they tarried there. And when they were sick and tired, who should they come across but Bella Skibbons, a kindly old northern lass who keeps a boarding house at number 45 Bethlehem High Street, and she caters for us northern folks out on club trips and charabang outings. So Joe nipped down to ring a bell, because there'd been a few club trips he sell like, and Bella come out, she was all over him. Hello, Joseph, she says, me out, Chucky Butty. He says, get off, man. I've got our lass here, act nonchalant. Oh, she says, what can I do for you, sir? He said, I want a room for me, the lass and the cuddy. I've got just the place, said Bella. There's a barn round the back, it's got a hole in the roof, straw on the floor, but it's used for 4 shekels. Done, says Joe. So you will be, said Bella. Keep that back door open, I'll slip around about 11 o'clock. So they gets into this holy barn, and it was, as Bella had said, hole in the roof, straw on the floor. And there's Mary, being a dutiful northern wife, putting the lace curtains up at the window. There was no windows, but she'd been at the bass again. And she's putting all the fancy ornaments that had won at different fairs and up and down the country at pigeon shooting and things like that. And all of a sudden, Joe got the 6:30 clench. Oh, Mary, look at me fist. Look at me fist. It's become a claw. I'll never hold a glass. I'll have to go down and see the doctor. And away he galloped out of that barn and ensconced himself, which is a Jewish tradition, down into the Hat and Feather Vaults down in the corner of the street of Bethlehem. Leaving, brethren, Mary all alone in this great big holy barn. All of a sudden, there was this great big puff of white smoke. And there in the middle of it all was this 8-foot bloke dressed in a white nightie with a pair of pigeons strapped to his back. Who are you, says Mary. I'm the angel Gabriel. And by hell, if thou led me a chase round Nazareth this night, you bugger. Do you not remember what I told you 9 months ago? He says, Mary, it slipped me mind. He says, why, something slipped. He says, the night's the night for the visitation from Big G. Get the hot water and towels on, because you know the lad likes to wash his wellies after a long journey. I don't know what old Joseph's going to say about this, says Mary. Take no notice of Joe, says Gabe. Being a southerner, I shall nip out and parlance with a peasant. And he jumped on this passing cloud because he's dying for a fag, and away he goes out into the night. And he gets down the corner pub, and who should he see sitting in the corner but Joe with the lads playing 5s and 3s. And Joe was quids in, quideths in. He took the darts, the toe double, the domino handicap, the raffle free entry next week. It was all in the pocketos. And of course, they're shuffling the doms, and Gabriel chalked on the board to sit in the next game like, and Joe shuffles them good and proper, and he picks his up like a true northerner, 6 in the fist. And Gabriel picks his up like a true southerner, and he builds castle walls all round the domino board. So Joe's studying the form like, and Gabe leans up to him nonchalantly, says, Joseph, and Joe says, aye, keeping the dominoes very close to the chest. He played with Southerners afore, like. He said, what can I do for you, buddy lad? So Gabe leans over and he says, oh, your lass is up the stick, the big G. Whoosh, ya bugger! Dominoes all over the place, and Joe is plotting Gabriel. Oh, Joe was annoyed. By ya bugger. Well, he tossed away a good hand of dominoes, and I mean to say, it's like that. And Gabriel saying, it's not me, man, it's not me, it's Big G, it's Big G. He thought, Big G, the bugger, I'll give you one. Anyway, they pacified Joe by putting a bottle of brown ale into his hand, and he sat down, glowering at Gabriel. All the lads gathered round to comfort Joe, and they all put the money in the kitty, and they went back with the booze to have a great big party. And what a party they had that night. They were doing the Keelraw, they were like Fandango and the Charlton Hestons, up and down the road, everything. Great party. And of course, Gabriel, being a southerner, he was muted as the pest. Mutified on the brown. And he kept lifting his kilt up and shouting, hallelujah! You know, and other such trivia like Arsenal for the cup and, you know, knick-knacks like that. So I mean to say, he was a typical southerner, if you understand what I mean. He drunk more than he bought. Short arms and long pockets. He says, I'm going to tell the world about this. They thought, you monkey bugger, get out. And they bolted the door after him, and the party continued. Now, at this time, up in the hills, there was these 3 shepherds putting a bit of nature by out of the holiday period. And they were chock-a-block. They were up to the eyeballs, because they could see all the bonny lights and hear all the bonny music and smell the brown ale wafting up the valley, and all they had were 4,000 sheep and 3 pair of wellies. So, when they seen this 8-foot bloke with a white nightie and the pigeon strapped to his back, coming up the road shouting, hallelujah, I'm a little sunbeam, oh, they thought aloud, oh, here comes a southerner, oh, hide the sheep. Anyway, up he gets. Lads, get yourself down to Bella's place. There's a rockin' party going on down there. Everybody's getting muted. Well, the shepherds didn't need a second telling, all except the foreman shepherd. And he turned around and says, oh, we dinna where the bloody place is like. Jordy shepherd like. Well, that stunned Gabriel because he didn't understand a word he was talking about. But all of a sudden, it suddenly hit him. Ooh! An empty bottle of brown ale tossed down by Big G on high. Let me tell you, he is the tightest bugger on God's... Well, it is, he's anyway. He's really tight. You remember Moses? Yeah, Moses looked like Burt Lancaster. Well, he was coming down off the mountain with his 10 commandments, and he tripped and he broke them. He wouldn't give him a new set. He says, play dominoes with the rest of the buggers, that's you. So this empty bottle of brown ale hit Gabriel, and he picked it up and he says, you don't know where the place is? And he says, no. And he fired the brown ale bottle into the sky. He says, follow the blue star, lads, you're not going far. So away they went, following this floating brown ale bottle in the sky, and who should they bump into, quite literally, was these three wise men on camels. Now, all a camel is a cuddy with two big humps on his back. One for the brown and one for the X, and you come it out with its tail, you get a hell of a head in it, like. And the foreman shepherd, he walked right in the back of them. Oh, he says, you bugger a hat. You want horns and bells in the back of these things, driver. Because you never know where you're putting your feet when you're following a camel in the night. It's the messiest creature on God's earth. Oh, it drinks the John Smiths. All right. Even the Arabs call it the shit of the desert. And what we're all at in its triangular shaped bum, well, the pyramids have had now to stop them. They've just shut up. Shut up. To this very day, little Egyptians climb up the top of these pyramids of camel muck and they jump off in mass suicide leaps, and they're still known as camel catty pilots, even now. Believe it or believe it not, but I was there, bonny lads, I was there. I was in a crib at the time, like, but I was be tell all about it. So the foreman shepherd, he looked up at the wise man, he says, where are you going, like? Oh, he says, we have come many miles, many moons, following yonder brown ale bottle in the sky. We go to seek the boy king. We go to Bethlehem. Oh, he says, you couldn't drop us off at Gateshead. He says, okay. And away they went. Well, they got down to the big barn, and the three wise men went in first, because they were toffee-nosed like, and the door opened, and Joe says, hello, who are you? Oh, they said, we're the group. Oh, he says, great. He says, what are the Carliers? Oh, they said, we're the King brothers. So away they gets in, and really started wellying through. Then the two shepherds, the young lads, they spied a couple of bewers, a bit of totty, you know, a bit of flupsy, and they thought, oh, tash, and they flung the wellies away. Spendthrifts, but you cannot talk to bairns, because they'd need the wellies, because they had friends back in the mountains. But the foreman shepherd, he spied the perfect shape, the brown ale bottle. Mother, I've come home. And he made a run for it, he tripped over the lunnon, and his head right on the beam. Jesus Christ, he says. And Joe looked up and says, here, Mary, that's not a bad name for the band when you come to think about it. Not bad at all, that. It's a damn sight better than high meat, so anyway, that's what we saw. And there they were, drinking the brown ale as though it was Christmas, which of course it was, when all of a sudden the heavens did open, and there was all these other funny blokes in white and pink 90s with spuggies and sparrows strapped to the back, dancing up and down the clouds. And in the middle of them all was the top laddie's cell, Big G, sitting on his throne. And he gets off his throne, waving his chin above his round his neck and feeling a bit flushed. And there was this, just before he spoke, there was this enormous crack of thunder, because he drunk an awful lot of bass. And Joe's saying, come down here, you Big G bugger. Come down here and fight it out like a man. And Big G says, Dinnerby, said, daft Joe, man, you keep the party gone down there, man. I'm up here with a brewery, I'm having a ball. I've read the book, I've seen the film. Truly, this was the Son of God. Quiet, please, while I just, quiet, studio, right. Cameras, right, okay, unzip. No. I'm really waiting for adverts like that to come on the telly, you know. Anybody got me the pub, oh, there's a good advert on at 9:30, I'll stop in and watch it, you know. There's toilet paper, there should be proper adverts for toilet paper, you know, people sitting down there, you know. This is one of the finest toilet papers I have ever used. I can recommend that each sheet is the same size, just peeling off. Anyway, you can wrap it, fold it, crumple it, roll it, and bind you off it does you good. So if you want to go through life without a clinker, use Starting now. If you can imagine this scene, Picture the scene. The old-fashioned chemist shops. And do you remember them old-fashioned chemist shops? All wood. And shelves going up and up and up. Oh, right up, ad nauseum. Right away up to the ceiling. And the shelves were all different levels and different heights and different widths. And the top shelves always had the phenomenal bottles. Big, tremendous shaped bottles. Purple and green spiral tops with phenomenal chemicals in them like Alkipini, Mustafa Gak, and things. All there. All there. And as the bottles got smaller, so the shelves got smaller. And you could buy licorice and Spanish fruit and sweeties in there, you know. You could buy anything in there. And there was always a musty smell. You were never quite sure it was the chemicals, the shop, or the chemist. And the chemist was something unique. My chemist, hair parted in the middle, dirty man's glasses on the end of his nose, neat teeth. He never used to wear an overall, just a mat loosely tied for easy exposure. I swear, I was going to say I got the first taste of sex there, but I'm not. And I used to believe he never used to wear trousers, just the turnips cut off and sewed to the bottom of the muck. And he always used to have a crucible in his hand. Ooh. Life's a grind. Ooh, it's a grind, life. Ooh, that girl's got harmony hairspray on over there. She hasn't. She's got harmony hairspray on. She hasn't, I tell you. She has, man. How do you know? Well, she wouldn't buy a wig that colour. Right. Suddenly the doorbell tinkles. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. In walks a little angelic little boy. White shirt, the grey flannel trousers, the grey stockings with the red bands and green Scouts dib-dabs, black patent leather shoes. Nice clean smile and 3 little hairs sticking up the back. The chemist says, oh, he says, hello, little boy. Gee, I've got something in my pocket I think you'd like. The little boy says, yes, Mr. Chemist. He says, have a sweetie, little boy. Have a sweetie. He says, thank you, Mr. Chemist. He said, well, lad, oh, what can I do for you? He said, I'd like a Tampax, please. Do you hear that deathly silence there? You could have heard a mouse fart there. Now, I haven't said a rude word yet. Honestly, Tampax is not a rude word, it's a trade name. I'm not going to try and embarrass anybody. More, I'm going to try and embarrass some men. Men get embarrassed about the word Tampax because it is a trade name. There's lots of little blue and white boxes. I've seen them in chemists, supermarkets, anywhere you like. They're there, and you kind of miss them. Tampax, they're on there. Tesco's are reducing them in price, you bugger. Yeah? They're there. But men get really way uptight about the word Tampax. So this is the chance for you girls to have a bit gloat here, just to see what type of men you've come out with. There's a bloke up there, he's gone, oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, I feel faint. Oh, my God. Oh, I've just come out for a quiet drink. Oh, he's talking about that horrible thing. It's not horrible at all, of course. It's just a normal word, Tampax. So I've said it again, Tampax. I'm quite happy to gloat now. Tampax. There's a bloke up there who thinks I'm talking about a city in Florida. No. No, you're wrong. Tampax. I tell you what, say how many men we've got in here, how liberated you are. I want to say the word Tampax. I'll count to 3, then really belly it out. Go on. 1, 2, 3. Tampax. And even them will grit it through the teeth. Tampax. You're a bunch of sissies. I mean, I said, oh, why did I pick on Tampax? I don't know. I mean, it's a popular word. I've heard it before. Tampax, it's a good word. It's got a good ring to it. Tampax. Go on, try it again, lads. Well, really build your... Go on, show off. There's women sitting beside you, you know, and make them proud. Make them, you know, they might send you out for them one day. What have I said? Would you pick that man up at the back? Oh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's coming on, it's coming on. I think there's a few women going, you see it. You see it. Come on. Tampaxen. No. So I could have come out and said Cortex, but no man would have understood what I was talking about, you know. Probably think I'm talking about a New York policeman who sucks lollies. But it's much the same thing. It's only a word cannot hurt you, but it's the threat behind the word that gets men, and it's the fear, which of course all men have, you see. They don't know. It's misunderstanding, it's ignorance. Yeah? So you say this word, and you can see, honestly, shock on people. Yeah, I could have come out and said, period. Oh, my God, it'd be dead. Because period's got a double meaning. It could mean full stop. It usually does, I agree. But, you know, you see, the most men, Tampax, Cortex, you know, menstruation, there's another word that really knackers men up, especially up in Newcastle, menstruation. They think it's a takeaway Indian, you know. See, but most men, oh, that's not, it's woman's words, Tampax, oh, it's woman's words. Yeah, they believe it's a woman's word, very much like headache, but it's not. It's not. You see, men are really glad to be men because that's the one that horrible thing. No, about that. But women are quite accepting. They've got to accept. That's why I think women have got patience. Yeah, but men, knackered they are. You know? See, if men had to suffer menstruation, no, we wouldn't. No way. I'm sorry. I'm a man. I'm not having that. No. 400 years we would have abolished it. You know, if we didn't, we certainly wouldn't be paying for the bookers. I'll tell you that now. It's mostly yes suckers, women are. I think it's the biggest contract out, that, but no, it's men who perpetrate it, I suppose. But it all stems from school, you see. I mean, when I used to teach, you had this terrible distinction between sexes, where girls are taught and lads find theirs in the toilet. I didn't mean it in quite that way, you understand? But they do. I used to teach, and you'd be sitting there with 11-year-olds or 12-year-olds, and in would come the headmistress, you know, the moustache, you know, looking like a sort of over-fat, obese Hattie Jakes, and she'd come in and says, I've come for the girls. And I think, oh, my God, you know. And all the girls would walk up, and the little children there, 11, and they're walking out, and they're wondering, where are we going? And the lads are going, oh, where are they going? You know? And I said, where are you taking the girls? She says, South Halls. So I came back and the little lad says, where's the girls gone? I said, I think they've gone to Birmingham. I'm not quite sure. So when the girls come back, of course, they've had the movie. They've found out about the body. And, of course, it's a magical thing. It's the cycle of life we're talking about. Really, why people should get uptight, it's a cycle of life. It's a beautiful thing. In come the girls. Only the girls, never the boys, never together, so the boys can learn with the girls. Always keep them separate. In come the girls. Because the girls are coming back radiant. You know, I'm a woman now. Oh. Before they've had pigtails and they're wondering if they can dare ask little Johnny out, you know, for a conker or something like that. And now, piss little Johnny, you know. I think I need a mature man, sir, don't you think? And the lads, they're still building tents. I mean, say there's no way. Yeah, no way. So the thing is to try and talk about it, bring it out in the open, be honest about it, because it is a beautiful thing. But you find the non-liberal. I mean, tonight, when you come out of here, it's a one word that kills men, Tampax. You come out of here and you see some of the Stockton thugs saying, you big pups, you're beating the fortnight. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha. Let them bully you. I'm going to club you to death. Ha, ha. Smile. You've got a weapon now. Let them swing that punch, and just as they're going to hit you, say, Tampax! Oh! Flat on his back, knackered. He'll not get up. But it really comes home. See, I'm a liberated man. I was taught well by a woman, and they got uptight about it. But you still find lots of uptight men. And I'll tell you where you'll find them on Saturdays, Tesco's supermarket. You'll find them in there. They're always going in droves, always come together. You know, the women are buying at the sanitary department. And you find just about one counter up, there's rows of baskets with men looking at the ceiling. And, you know, your wife, is she out there? Yeah. I'm thinking of buying a lawnmower, you know. I might as well cut the grass. Knackered. But me, I'm different. I'll put my sneakers on, my trousers, my T-shirt, the Tampax kid, and I'm moving. I'm moving. It's the Tampax kid. You can bet your goddamn life it is. Okay, it's the Tampax kid. Okay, lady, get out of the way. Oh, you swine. And we'll come in and I'm saying, I want some Tampax. Hit me some Tampax there, babe. I'm just going to get some Tampax. Special offer. We're just going to load up with a Tampax there. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get myself a nosebleed. Here we go. Dear look. Oh, my God, the Tampax. We'll just get them all the Tampax. There you are, darling. Oh, super. Sorry, wrong ones. Then, lads, you can be liberated. Like the 9-year-old little lad of innocence who walked into that chemist that day and said, I want a Tampax. Tampax, said the chemist. You want a Tampax? How old are you? 9. 9, and you want a Tampax? Yes. What do you want a Tampax for? I want to ride, swim, play tennis, climb mountains. One verse. I was at a party a few weeks ago. It was one of these hippie-fied parties, you know, they're all sort of beaten saying, hey, just hit me with some skins, cat. Get out of the dance. Shook hands, all right. And I was standing there, and, I was sitting listening to some heavy rock music, which I didn't know who that it was, what it was, but it was quite heavy, funky-fied. And I'm sitting there at the settee, just, having a look around, waiting to see if there's any tash coming in, and, and this bloke sidled up to me, you know, and I thought, oh, Lord, here we go. And I always get the quiz, you know, and I thought, here we go. And I could see him getting close, and his eyes just starting to light up. I thought, oh. He says, you all right? I said, oh, not too bad. He says, do you want some shit? I says, no, thanks, no. He says, good stuff. I said, oh, well, I wouldn't doubt it for a minute. He says, you know, are you sure you don't want any? I says, no. To be honest, I've got a fair bit of my own. Oh, he says, oh. He says, have you got some with you now? I says, well, I says, I had some, but I haven't got any now. Just a few minutes ago, I got rid of it. Oh, that's a bit, I would have bought it. I says, well, if you'd asked, you could have had it for now. Oh, he says, no, I always pay for it. I said, oh, well, fair enough, really. He says, what sort was it? I says, well, I didn't really pay much attention to it. Because I've got Moroccan. I says, wow. I says, well, that's nice for you, really. It's good stuff, mine. I says, well, I'm not wanting to brag, but I'm quite proud of mine as well, really. So I usually roll mine in licorice papers. I said, I don't think you can get mine in licorice papers, to be honest. Possibly a couple of observers, maybe, but... well, not really. Oh, he says, it's a pity you got rid of it. I says, well, you know, it's neither one thing or the other to me. He says, was it good stuff? I says, well, I'm not really what you could call an expert on it, really. I just have it, and then 1 minute I haven't got it. Oh. He says, because mine's a good smoke. I said, what? I said, no, I've never actually smoked mine. Oh! He says, you one of these that puts it in cakes? I says, no. You know, I tend to leave it around. So have you ever been busted by the fuzz? I said, well, I didn't realise it was illegal. Oh, he says, he says, you're not allowed to smoke. I said, oh, well, I figured that would be illegal, right? Especially in public. Oh, he says, you can't smoke in public. He said, I usually get some and roll it in my licorice papers and smoke it in private. I thought, well, that's probably for the best, really. You know. He says, and sometimes I put it in a hookah and blow through it. It's funny, though, isn't it? Really? It's just one word. What confuses me is if all these hippies keep talking about shit in that way, what happens if they really want one? I'm just going upstairs for a quick dope. It's ridiculous, yeah? So she's a big lass, she's a bonny lass, and she likes her beer, and they calls her Cushy Butterfield, and I wish she was here. That's basically the chorus. As a broken-hearted keel man, and as I were in love with a big lass down Gateshead that calls her me dove. Now her name it's Cushy Butterfield, she sells yalla clear, and her cousin he's a muck man, and they calls him Tom Gray. She's a big lass, she's a bonny lass, she likes her beer, and they calls her Cushy Butterfield, and I wish she was here. Now you'll oft see her down at Sandgate when the hurrin comes in. She's like a great bag of sawdust tied around with a bit string, and she wears big galoshes. Her stockings once was white, and her bed smoked white lilac, but her hat's never to ride. But she's a big lass, she's a bonny lass, she likes her beer, and they calls her Cushy Butterfield. Well, when I asked her for to marry me, she started to laugh. And none of your monkey tricks, 'cause I'm not me such chap. Then she started to bubble. She roared like a bull, and the chaps on the quay says there's none but a fiord. But I stood there and told them 'cause I loved the lass. She's a big lass, she's a bonny lass, she likes her beer, and they calls her Cushy Butterfield, and I wish she was. Now we're singing about Cushy Butterfield, we're singing about Cushy Butterfield, and there's not many people realise that she actually existed. Cushy Butterfield was a buxom woman, Oh, I said to Master, I said, one day, lad, all this will be thine. A buxom woman. Around Newcastle about 1874-75, and this is a moral in this for all girls in the audience, because men can be swines to women, I think. Men are evil creatures. They're lustful creatures, girls. Look just closely at the person's eyes next to you. Sees lust ringing out. Now look at mine. Even a sow wouldn't fancy me at the minute, but never mind. But she fell in love with this man, and when a woman's in love, well, they'll bend over backwards. To please a man, they'll give him the all. And he entered a drinking competition, and of course, he could not enter the finals because he'd damaged his wrist doing for some reason. And she, because she loved him, entered it. And because her love was so great, she won first prize, 40 gallons of beer. And of course, then she reverted back to the feminine side of her nature. What's his is mine, and what's mine I'm drinking. And she poured it down, and she spewed out like little Jerry Mouse eating cheese in the fridge. And all the kids used to after and call her fatty and raggy knickers, which is sad, but it wasn't true because she never wore any. She couldn't get them to fit. I mean, it was enormous size. And she tried to get rid of this obesity, this fatness, this weight. She tried to run it off, but her backside, it was, a little Volkswagen stuck on her hips, and it just wedged itself to the floor and thought, up you as Mrs. I'm not coming, I'm stopping here. I want spare parts. So she tried to dye it, but couldn't pick a colour. In fact, that is where the joke originally comes from. It's a traditional joke, that. Then she tried Synatogen tonic wine. But after 4 gallons of Synatogen tonic wine, her backside just lifted up and roared round the corner and left her. Hasn't been seen since, Call it Hippy. And then she even tried weightlifting for her love. She was okay to a point, up to there. But she had these enormous Dolly Partons, and she was buggered because she had to get the weights up to there, then abseil the weights around the boobs up to there, then do the exercises. And if she forgot the boobs were there and whipped the weights up quick, these bruise marks appeared right around the spine of her back. It was really sad. And so she moved to the interminable move, what all women move, the hide it, shift it, and move it brigade. Rubber foundation garments. Yes, we're looking around. It's like work with a cow here. I wish he'd put his udder in his mouth. First of all, she tried Little X, but they wouldn't move with her, the damn swine. She tried 12-fit, but it didn't. Well, one did, but the other didn't. You see, because no woman is perfectly proportioned, unless the man happens to be right-handed. And then she came to the final degradation, Platex. Crush your heart. And she bought one, a skin tone, I think that's a nice colour. Pulled it out of the box and untwirled it, and she put it on, properly of course, girls, lowering herself into the cups. There's all these women out saying, how does he know that? Oh, no. That's the way they're supposed to do it, lads. They're supposed to lower boobies into the cups so that each boobie finds its own weight, place and level. Get boobies quite comfortable and then pull elastic out the side and fasten at the back, thus. Not like most of yous do in the morning, round the front and well up here. You're not putting a saddle on, you know. So tomorrow morning, lads, be it your wife, your girlfriend, or even your mistress, when they get out of bed, make them do it properly. Make them lower boobies into the cups. It's good for boobies, and it's a hell of a laugh. It is so funny. No, because you see, they can get one in okay, but when they move across, it drops out, and they're putting it under the shoulders, and they're getting the bloody thing in here, and they kept dropping it in the mouth, and spit it in. Then they fasten it. She finally got it fastened, and it crisscrossed, 3 crosses. She got the jackpot, and then it lifted, because she was a bugger for the nimble, and then it separated, and it put the buggers round the back. Well, she was more popular than she'd ever been, because all the blokes used to like to dance with her. In fact, that is how the popular BBC programme came to be invented, and therefore we should really sing this song gratefully for Cushy. Now, she said the chap that gets us, he'll have to work every day, and when he comes, he'll have to gang and see clear. But when he's away seeking it, I'll make pause and sing, oh, we'll me the keel row that my laddie's in. She's a big lass, she's a bonny lass, she likes her beer, and they calls her Cushy Butterfield, and I wish she was here. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, the Lord. God damn it, the Lord. Thank you, Lord, for giving me this life, which I cherish, Lord. I really do. I cherish that, Lord. Even though I'm poor and starving, I know it's all part of your goddamn plan, Lord. And thank you, Lord, for the sky above, that blue sky, cloudless blue sky, with the sun blazing down, parching the land and burning my crops. Burning the ass off me while it's about it, Lord. But I know that's part of your master plan, Lord. Now, I put my trust in you, Lord. I really do. And Lord, I gotta thank you, Lord, for the little birds that fly above in that sky who give me so much pleasure, even though they shit all over my head. And my God, Lord, it's difficult being a Christian here, because every time I look up, oh Christ, I've done it again, my Lord. And Lord, I gotta thank you for the little insects that sort of invade my pantry and eat my house out of food and starve the children, because I know that's what you want them to do, and they're your creatures as much as mine. But I sure in heaven's name, Lord, I wish you'd give cheese big feet. Lord, I want to thank you for the job you give me part-time, working in the chemical plant there, and the chemicals are polluting all my land, but I know that it's part of your goddamn plan, you little hooky. Lord, one last thing, Lord. Lord, I just got one little favor to ask you, Lord, before I go to my work, Lord. Lord, help me. Lord, help me to be a better John Wayne impersonator, Lord. The hell I will.